I get the privilege today of introducing our next speaker, which is Reverend Trish Gray. Trish has been a member of the Metaphysical Chapel of Life since December 2018 and has held the positions of Secretary and President of the Chapel's Board of Directors. Not easy tasks, trust me. She is currently a novitiate minister pursuing full ordination through the chapel. She is also a graduate of the International Medium Joseph Shields Evidential Mediumship Mentoring Program, and she received her mediumship certification and Reiki practitioner certification through the Montclair Psychic School. Her studies in metaphysics began in the 1980s. She's only 25, and continue to this day. Her current focus is on energy work, psychic phenomena, and spirit communication. Trish believes that greater peace in life is possible when you understand how the highs and lows of your current experience support your path in this incarnation. Pretty wise words, don't you think? And so now, Reverend Blake is going to speak to us. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to be here. This is my first time speaking in a couple of years, and we finally got to the point where enough other people were really good at running the Zoom that I had enough clear brain space to actually sign up to speak. So thank you, Stanley, and everyone else joining. So I'm going to take a page out of Reverend Whitley's book today and start with an opening for a passage from the Bible. And this is from John 12:13. And this is from a version called the Good News New Testament, which is a plain English version of the Bible. The next day, the large crowd that had come to the Passover festival heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem. So they took branches of palm leaves and went out to meet him, shouting, "Praise God. God bless him who comes in the name of the Lord. God bless the King of Israel." That's today, Palm Sunday. That's what we commemorate. The Christian faith commemorates Palm Sunday. And so as I was deciding what to speak about today, I thought that in some way, shape, or form, I really wanted to relate the message and the talk to the fact that it was Palm Sunday. And really, this was, Palm Sunday was the start of that crescendo moment of that 3-ish long year ministry that Jesus had. It was really the beginning of that culminating event to that long ministry. And there are different ways that people of different faiths recognize that week. Historically, there's consensus that he did walk that path. The Christians really look to the Easter Sunday as the end of that path and that joyful event. Historians, maybe they don't really focus on that Easter part, but maybe they all agree about the Good Friday event. But that's really neither here nor there, nor what I'm going to talk about today. So when I was younger, Palm Sunday, when I was very young, that was my favorite church service because they gave away those palms, and they were very long, and you could reach around your mom and tickle your brother's ear and make him think there was a fly on his ear for a good long time. But then as I got older, I started really understanding the story, and Palm Sunday is this kind of a joyful buildup of energy, but then you know what's going to come next, that the next parts of the journey were kind of sad in the story. And so that whole Easter week story, that part of the journey is something that at every stage of my own spirituality, I've kind of struggled with. And I'll talk to you about this, right? I still struggle with it because even when I was a practicing Catholic, the joy of Easter was still overshadowed by the sadness of Good Friday. So when I signed up for this particular day, I didn't realize it was Palm Sunday. And then when I realized I had to speak, I was in a little bit of a quandary. And I think that's when Spirit stepped in and showed me a different path, a different treatment of this whole metaphysical journey. and really brought me more to the metaphorical context of this journey through a ministry and to that Easter moment, a metaphorical treatment of the entire journey and the path that people take. And so that's really what I'm focusing on today, and I call this a metaphorical view of Palm Sunday is what I'm talking about. And in each of our lives, if we really think about it, there are times when all of us go on this type of a journey, a transformational journey is really what we're talking about, right? And for this is really times when we have something that we're working on, something maybe monumental, maybe a little more modest, but these are times when we're answering a calling, something that's come up in our lives and we need to make a change. And it's not necessarily a spiritual calling. It could be a transition or a change in our lives, something that just can't be denied. Maybe it's a career change, or maybe it's a move to a new location, or maybe it's being called to step into a new modality in your spiritual work. Maybe it's taking the next brave step to be a healer, something that you maybe don't even envision that you have the talent for, but you decide that maybe that's something that you need to start thinking about. In the beginning of these types of endeavors, these callings, you might feel like maybe you're not worthy, or it's too costly, or it's too scary, and there are so many hurdles in the way. Maybe you're not talented enough. And even though the idea seems like it would be wonderful, at first the inertia hurdle is just too much to get over. And so it kind of creeps into your brain and you say, that would be so wonderful, but probably not me, not now. Now's not the right moment. But if it's really a calling of any sort, the move, the career, the spirituality, it's going to come back into your psyche and it's going to nudge you again. It's going to say, it's going to plant those visions. Maybe a few of those hurdles will start falling away. Maybe you still think, too much work. I just don't have time. There would be too many people who would be hurt if I did that. But if it's really a calling, it won't be denied, right? It's going to keep coming back over and over, no matter how unlikely it might seem at first, it's going to keep coming back to you. That change that you have to make, that's that transition that you need to make. And so as Susan read in my bio, if you've had a reading from me, I really focus on the life path, really the set of experiences that we have come into this incarnation to work on, that we decided for ourselves that we wanted to work on in this particular incarnation. So in any given moment in your life, what are the pain points and what are the joy points? And what is it, how does that relate to the path that we intended for ourselves to take in this reality? In my path-focused view of life, there's also a force that keeps us steered to the path that we need to walk, which isn't necessarily a straight path. Maybe it takes bends and it has to take bends. But the steering happens some way. Maybe it's something in our own subconscious that we carried over from that time when we were making those plans for ourselves. Maybe it's someone on the other side who is working with us, with the divine that's helping to steer us. Regardless of what it is, there's something that manifests in us, a need for change through the feeling of desire. These callings don't come through fear or through desperation, they come through desire. They're just this vision that you really want to get to a new place. And so either way, these things won't be denied. And so maybe they're not so monumental as that incredible ministry of Jesus of Nazareth, but they're a calling nonetheless. They're changes that we need to make on that journey of life that we've come into, that new career, that new relationship, that new place that we need to call home. Maybe that new spiritual modality. So at first, in these types of transitional changes, there's probably going to be a slow evolution. That point in that journey where you actually have to make the decision to start. Making the decision to start and really trying to explore that you're going to see where this takes you. And then as you become more comfortable and more confident, what seemed at first like maybe a pipe dream starts to take on the feeling of real possibility now. And then you keep going. And soon you're fully engaged in that future state that you kind of want to get to becomes like a North Star, and it shines like a beacon and draws you to it. Sometimes it consumes your language. That's all you talk about, that new place, that new thing. Maybe you form strong connections with other people who are on a similar journey with you. This is really a golden time when you know that you have the ability to succeed, and all you need to do is stay the course and keep working. And then finally comes that culminating crescendo time. And this is that Easter week of that spiritual journey. This is the time when you've been working toward that career change, and you realize that you finally have that interview for that new job. Or maybe you're brave enough to finally put your house on the market. You're really going to commit to that change. It hasn't happened yet, but this is really when you step into that reality. That metaphorical moment that is the same as that journey that those disciples and Jesus took as they walked into Jerusalem, celebrating the Passover amid the fanfare of palm leaves, knowing that it was probably not going to be entirely easy journey, but they had the bravery to do it. This is your Palm Sunday moment when you finally make that commitment, and you know that's the culminating event. And there may follow for you in this journey, in this path, a Good Friday moment. For a career move, it's that day when you have to say goodbye to all those people you worked with. How will they get by without you? That's a very sad day. Or it's the day that you move out and you leave and hug that next door neighbor for the last time and tell them that the new neighbors will surely be good too, and promise you'll keep in touch. Those are sad moments and times when the weight of that journey really becomes reality for you, right? And then in this metaphorical journey, that Holy Saturday is that in-between time. You've left the old, you really haven't gotten to the realization of the new. It's that little bit of an ebb there. And finally comes that Easter Sunday moment. And this is that first day on the new job. Or it's that first time you turn the key in the door of the new home. Or the first time that you stand up and perform a healing in front of the chapel as an approved chapel healer. Or the first time that you sit in a psychic fair as an approved reader. You've made it. You've gotten to that North Star vision. And those are the culminating events, that metaphorical journey that maps to that journey that Jesus of Nazareth took, whether you believe the historical or the spiritual context. So in this repeating cycle of these transformational journeys in our lives, this time after Easter Sunday is really the phase when we start working into that new normal. And sometimes it can feel a little bit like a letdown, right? The butterflies are gone. You're starting to realize that, there's a lot of responsibility maybe in this new role. But this is when you really need to remember that you have reached that North Star. This is the time when you have to acknowledge that you made it to something that seemed like it was just a vision that couldn't be realized. You have made it to that moment. And it's very important for you to feel in the gratitude and to feel in the accomplishment and the pride, because that's the confidence that you're going to then have for the next transformational journey, because life isn't stagnant. Life is going to bring you from one to the other, and there's always going to be a next step. As long as you're still here in this incarnation, you've got another transformation waiting for you. So on this day of Palm Sunday, maybe take a little bit of time to reflect on those Palm Sunday moments that you've already lived in your life. They tend to be indelibly etched into the tapestry of the memories that we carry. Moments when the clouds are fully charged with electricity just before the lightning strikes. This is the Palm Sunday moment. That's what you want to commemorate and remember. Or maybe you're in a part of your journey where you're still holding that Easter Sunday moment as your vision. You're midway and you need that strength to keep going. Wherever you are, acknowledge your success just in the willingness to make these changes and to answer that calling that your higher self or that divine spirit pressed you towards so you could stay the course of the path of your life. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you for allowing me to share, and I wish you all a wonderful week and a successful journey.